From shocking everyone with his cheerful response to the potential Saudi and ATP partnership, to the player thinking about postponing his early retirement plans, here's how Nick Kyrgios reacted to Saudi Arabia's proposal to buy tennis. There's some new development going on in the world of tennis, and it's making the Aussie prince of the sport super happy. Let me catch you up if you've been living under a rock for the past few days. The infamous Saudi Arabian Public Investment Fund has entered the chat. Does that name sound familiar? It's because they're the same people who started the golf wars. You know, the whole PGA Tour versus LIV League controversy. And now that they've swallowed up golf, the PIF has turned its head towards tennis. The word on the street is that the Saudis can't wait to team up with the ATP Tour. In simple terms, they're here to buy tennis. And get this, Nick is all up for it. Currently, the details are up in the air, since the ATP chief, Gaudenzi, has only revealed that a deal with the PIF is under discussion. But the chief did describe these talks as positive. So I'm guessing there's a 90% chance that a deal is headed their way. Coming back to the Aussie, he couldn't be happier. But let's be honest here, we sorta expected this reaction. Because after all, Kyrgios has been the biggest advocate of a pay raise for tennis players. And with the Saudis in the mix, his bank account balance is bound to skyrocket in the future. As for the pay raise, do you remember the little feud he had with the Austrian player Dominic Thiem? After the pandemic, tennis authorities were looking to set up a fund, something to help out the lower-ranked players affected by COVID. And guess what? Dominic went ahead and said it was a waste of money. Because if you're a lower-ranked player, it simply means you've got a bad attitude. But Kyrgios set the record straight, telling his fellow player, "We at the top get paid far too much, and there's not enough to go around." Pretty noble for the modern-day bad boy of tennis. And with this new development, Nick can sleep without a worry, because wherever PIF goes, billions and billions of dollars follow. So there's gonna be enough for everyone. But how did these talks even start? I guess you could pin that on the Diriyah Cup of 2022. It was really supposed to be an exhibition tournament, but it turned out to be a lot more. The cup got the world's top men playing in the Saudi kingdom. And with the way things are turning out, it's not a big leap from there to the ATP finals moving to Saudi. Wouldn't that be something? If you're aware of the LIV Golf versus PGA battle, you probably already know that it was one steaming mess, and pretty much took the parties a whole year to clean up that mess. Which, by the way, contained a lot of bans, litigations, and insults and whatnot. From the looks of it, Gaudenzi already knew that the Saudis were eyeing his sport. So he thought it'd be much better to skip the drama and just form a partnership. It's simple. If you can't beat them, join them. Here's what he had to say. If you're a golf fan, you want to see top players playing against each other. You want one ranking, one story. Well, it's good to see them reacting so maturely. As for the players, they're taking this change very well. Just look at what Kyrgios had to say. He laid out everything he felt in a single tweet. And boy was the Aussie filled with excitement. He even typed in all caps, tweeting that it was amazing to have someone who finally saw the value in tennis. And it meant that they were gonna get bigger paychecks, which is something they deserved. In his words, "We're gonna get paid what we deserve to get paid. Sign me up." And let's not forget the money bag emojis he added next to it. While the golf world might have been worried about the whole sports washing propaganda, that's the least of Nick's concerns for now. Wondering what I mean by sports washing? In order to hide their crimes and human rights violations, the Saudi government's ready to spend a whole lot of dough on buying sports, trying their best to change the narrative. That's the only reason they've also got major soccer players like Cristiano Ronaldo and Karim Benzema. Other players haven't exactly reacted to the potential partnership, but it's clear they're expecting something down the line. The world number one, Carlos Alcaraz, was sure the players will be headed to Saudi Arabia at some point. After all, money talks, and Saudi Arabia has enough to make the whole choir sing. But that's not all. It was also reported that the next-gen finals, the end-of-year competition for the top 8 under-21 players, will be moving to Jeddah. Plus, according to a recent deal, this move from Milan to Saudi Arabia is confirmed for at least 5 upcoming seasons. Now, the fans have mixed reactions to the way Kyrgios is dealing with the news. Some think it's only a matter of time before the sports flop, because chances are the Kingdom's Vision 2030 plan will end up failing. since the countries are headed towards a green tomorrow, which means less demand of the Saudi oil supply, giving them less petrodollars. So maybe the player should reconsider. Others went in a different direction, saying that Kyrgios was already earning a lot, and he does not need a fatter paycheck. I understand where they're coming from. After all, the champ's got a net worth of around $18 million, with over $12 million being his career earnings. Sounds like he already has a pretty good deal going on. Fans think that the sport shouldn't be about the money, and that this deal will show Nick's true face. Some tennis fans even called Saudi Arabia's bluff, saying this deal with ATP was only a PR campaign to distract everyone from human rights violations. Others were all for it, saying it's about time the players got the money they deserved. After all, the pay for tennis players was, quote, criminally low. Well, I don't know about that, but it's good to see that some of his fans will have his back no matter what. And with this new development, Kyrgios might push back his retirement plans just a little. Turns out, Nick's actually aiming for an early retirement because he doesn't want to be consumed by the sport. And he thinks spending time with his family is really important. But his tennis schedule doesn't let him stay in Australia for long. So according to his recently announced plans, the champ will retire as soon as he wins a Grand Slam. That's right, Nick himself said, quote, "Hopefully, I can win a slam and just retire." He's yet to win one of the main tennis events, and apparently that's only because he thinks they're super selfish. But with the chances of multiplying his net worth, I'm not so sure where he stands now. On top of this, there's a possibility that the Saudis will offer him a flexible schedule, something we all know he's been hoping for a long time. Still, that's really far in the future, and Nick likes to take one step at a time. Plus, before he has to make the big decision, the star has a lot to deal with. You know, like his injuries. In order to win a slam, you first need to compete in one. And Kyrgios' 2023 season hasn't been the best one for the player. Up until now, he's only played one match at the Stuttgart Open, which he lost after only one round. So if he wants to be paid big bucks in this new era of tennis, Nick needs to step up his game. But I guess we could cut him some slack. The poor guy's facing a ton of injuries right now. First, he had that knee surgery that kept him out of the game for 8 months. And then he hurt his foot during a burglary. Seems like the Aussie just can't catch a break. And right now, all his hopes are riding on Wimbledon. In fact, he isn't even participating in the Halle warm-up tournament, just to avoid putting extra stress on his knee, and to make sure he's in top-notch condition when he takes the court in Wimbledon. I don't know about you, but I sure am looking forward to his performance in July, and of course the decision he'll be making afterwards. And there you have it. From the player thinking about postponing his early retirement plans, to shocking everyone with his cheerful response to the potential Saudi and ATP partnership, that's all for how Nick Kyrgios reacted to Saudi Arabia's proposal to buy tennis.